Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue and we're going to be talking about strength finders today. We're going to be talking about the strength of command. And this is in the influencing domain of Clifton Strength Finders. So if you are a commander, then this video is all about you. If you're like the rest of us and you need to grow in this, then hopefully we'll learn something today that can encourage us to be willing and ready to stand up to the plate and take ownership of our and responsibility for the situations in life we find ourselves in. All right, so just before we get started, a reminder in the description below is a link to my website, tomlahue.com, where I do offer Enneagram coaching and relationship coaching. Whatever I can do to come alongside of you and help you if you're feeling stuck or trapped or not sure what the next move is in life, just to make some space to help you sort those things out and also to help your relationships be all that they can be. Got a lot of different on-demand classes on my website, and I'd love for you to consider signing up and growing in some aspect of your life and be the best version of yourself you can be. All right, let's get into this. Looking at this strength, we're in the domain of influencing, and there's a lot of great important strengths here. And this one is on command. And so let's just read the card first, start there. Then I've got all kinds of good information and ideas that I want to talk about with command. So command is people who are high, where's my glasses? People who are high in this strength of command have a certain presence about them. Like they walk in, people know it. They walk in and people just kind of divert and expect them to have something to say and have some kind of input to give. They can take control of a situation and make decisions. That can be challenging for some of us. I scored 23 out of 34 on command, so it's definitely not in my top 10. It's not even my top 20. It's getting down there into the bottom third of the strengths. It says, I am direct and decisive. So I'm able to be direct with people, tell them exactly what I think, tell them what I expect. And man, I appreciate that. It's hard for me to do that, but I appreciate it when other people are direct and clear and concise and can make, spur of the moment decisions. I'm in the thinking group, and as a 7-wing 6, I want to deliberate, I want to collaborate, I want to talk about it, and I appreciate people who just go, yep, no, we're not doing that, let's go this way. Now, of course, that can get frustrating at times if you don't agree with their decision, but I do appreciate somebody who's able to, on the spur of the moment, tap into their gut, know what they want, and then just say it out loud and start moving people in that direction. I will push back when I'm pushed. I bring emotional clarity. I need challenges and conflicts. Now, if you're a type 2 or a type 9 right now, you hear that and you're like, ugh, challenges and conflicts. I mean, I guess we all like challenges a little bit, you know. I don't know who wouldn't want some kind of challenge in life. Every video game, every movie is about a challenge in some way. But conflict, and do you feel alive when you have some kind of resistance, when people push on you, when there's some kind of challenge in front of you, something to engage in? Does that give you like an energy burst, an adrenaline burst, or you feel alive? Because some people don't. Some people don't want challenges. They don't want conflict. They don't want problems. And if we're like that, it's going to be hard for us maybe to command a team or to give commands and be direct and straightforward with people. I love exerting control in situations that seem out of control. And nobody wants to work in an environment where everything feels like it's out of control, where everything is ambiguous, where nobody really knows what's expected of them, and nobody's really sure who's in charge. Nobody wants to work in an environment like that. So somebody's got to step up to the plate. And people who are high in command are probably going to be those people that step up to the plate. If not, we're going to be like trapped in a submarine, with the captain as a monkey. Nobody wants that. We want somebody that we can believe in, somebody that has some confidence, somebody that's got some boldness, somebody that's willing to take risks, that's willing to call out crap when they see it and say, that's not good, that's junk, that needs to be I'm sorry, but you got to go. You got to step aside. That's such painful work sometimes, hurting people's feelings and letting them down and being the bearer of bad news. But I appreciate people that can do this. I love exerting control in situations that seem out of control. I hate passivity and avoidance. Well, that calls it out, doesn't it? Passivity and avoidance. Because, you know, some leaders try to be thoughtful and diplomatic and careful, but they can come across as being passive and apathetic, indifferent, avoiding, not wanting to upset people. And so what happens? Then the tyrants end up in control. The tyrants and the people that do a crappy job, they end up demoralizing everybody else on the team. That's what happens. And you could find yourself, you know, as a nice guy trying to lead something, having a demoralized team because you won't deal with the problems. And there comes a point where you just have to deal with it. You just have to say, for the sake of all that is holy, for the sake of everybody else that's trying to do a good job, I can't let this person or this quality of this performance demoralize everybody else. It's not nice to let a tyrant or tyrants, you know, get the best of your organization. And so you have to, at times, assume that role of command. Now, if you're high in this, great. I mean, be that person. Use your gift. Care enough. Okay, let me say it this way. If you're high in the strength of command, find a organization that has a purpose that you believe in so strongly that you will then employ and use that strength to better that organization and to help that organization fulfill its mission. Don't be the commander with no army because you're done, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're frustrated. People complain, they misunderstand me, they call me overbearing, they call me, I don't need that. And so you just, you know, don't align yourself with anything. I get it, you're probably not a joiner. You wouldn't join because you need the organization. You join because the organization needs you. You join because the church, the organization, the team, the lodge, whatever it is, they need you because no one does well when there's nobody in charge. And some of us just have a hard time being the person in charge for lots of different reasons. We'll talk about those in a minute, why people would resist this. But if you have this strength, find some group somewhere that's doing something you believe in and then organize and challenge that group to be more than they would be on their own because they need you. We need you. Okay, so I hate passivity and avoidance. The metaphor is a person who's comfortable in the driver's seat. And the barrier is you could be thought of as being bossy or being a dictator. You have to have things your own way. You don't listen to anybody else. You don't take anybody else's opinion. You strong arm, and you don't want to do that. You know, you don't want to go too far with this. So in the book that I'm looking at, StrengthsFinders 2.0 by Tom Rath, it's just a simple little book. It's not complicated. It's simple. This is what he says. He says, command leads you to take charge. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, people could gripe and complain about the person in charge, but at the end of the day, everybody needs somebody in charge. Unlike some people, you feel no discomfort when imposing your views on others. What does that sound like? Well, it's funny that the person that might resist this is probably the one that brings it the most. So I think of Enneagram Type 8s, of course. A lot of this sounds like 8s. And I think definitely some 1s. You know, I could see some, you know, some INTJs, ENTJ8s, and some ISTJ1s, you know, that are, I think the ones are going to be different in that, like, we're trying to get to this goal to do the right thing, and this organization needs to be straightened out and put right and do better work. I don't know that all of that would go on necessarily with an 8, but, and then I think even 3s could be high in this strength of command. I would say 3s would probably see it more as a strategy. You know, like I need to adopt this posture in order to get the results that I want to get. And they wouldn't have to be the commander, but they might realize, like, I need to become the commander. And although it might not be as inherent in their DNA or personality, I could see them morphing into this role and becoming this person. I don't think 8s would become this person. I think 8s, probably a lot of them are this person, and some 1s. And then I think, even oddly enough, I would imagine that maybe even some 9s, probably some 9-wing 8s, you know, especially if they were acting on behalf of another commander. So, like, imagine the supervisor puts down these orders, you know, corporate sends a list of what has to be done, and now this 9 has to be the bearer of bad news and has to be the one in charge because I'm representing, you know, the powers that be. I can see 9s being in this role occasionally, not all of them, and certainly it could be challenging for 9-wing 1s, but I can see some 9s. I think 6s are going to have a real hard time with this. 2s are probably going to have a real hard time with this. 7s could have a hard time, and you know, 5. I could see the rest of us probably having a hard time with this. Most naturally, 8s, 1s, and probably some 3s. Okay, so unlike some people, you feel no discomfort in imposing your views and your opinions on others. Once your opinion is formed, you need to share it with others. Like, you feel a need to share it with others. And once your goal is set, you feel restless until you align people with that goal and align them with you. And 8s move with people to take the hill. You're not frightened by confrontation. It's just the first step in creating resolution. Yeah, it's natural. It's got to happen. Whatever. We got to get through it. Let's move on. You feel compelled to present the facts and the truth no matter how unpleasant they are. People need to be aware of the truth. They need to see things the way they are. If somebody's acting like a fool, they need to be told they're a fool. And if they don't like it, well, then stop being a fool. I can feel myself leaning into that 8-wing, you know, but that's not me, man. That is just not me. It needs to be. Hey, I'm the first to tell you that we got to learn to lean into our less dominant wing. And that's, I need to grow in this for sure. Pushing people to take risks. You could come across as intimidating, and he says you have presence, you have command. Other people will often be drawn to you, and the willingness to just look people in the eyes and say, that's not going to work for me. You need to change this. You need to step up your game. I'm sorry. Man, it sounds so good when I say it, but it feels so hard when I'm talking to people, you know. When you're in a room, you are a dynamic person, and you tend to take charge of situations. Okay, so you have a persuasiveness. You're probably a candid person. You're strong in your opinions. And one of the things he says I think is good is step up in your organization and break all the bottlenecks. I always call it kill the crap, be a crap killer, but break the bottlenecks. Others can count on you and your natural decisiveness to get things moving. And when you remove roadblocks, you create momentum and success. So not everybody's going to like this. A lot of the pencil pushers, okay, a lot of the Bob Cratchits that work in that office, they're going to be frustrated because you're just steamrolling and breaking bottlenecks. But if you see the path in front of you and it's clear, then, I mean, you might have to fight a little bit for it. Everybody will thank you later. They may not thank you in the process, but they might thank you later that you pushed out some of the dead weight, you know, in the organization. So consider taking the lead on a committee and find a cause you believe in and support it. And then I think this is a great line right here, right at the bottom of this page. He says, never threaten this person. He's telling the rest of us, when you're dealing with a commander, never threaten this person unless you're 100% ready to follow through. I thought that was good. Never threaten them unless you're 100% ready to follow through. Now, why would we have a problem with this? Why would people like me, if you're watching this and you naturally are pretty high in the strength of command, you might look at the rest of us like, what's wrong with you people? Like, what's wrong with you? Well, here's a list of why the rest of us might struggle with this issue of seeing ourselves or taking this role of command. Number one, we have our own personality and our natural tendencies. Some people are more introverted, for example, and have difficulty seeing themselves, you know, asserting themselves. They may be high in withdrawing and high in complying, but not high in being assertive, and definitely don't want to have confrontations. And that's the next one, is a fear of confrontation. Like, I don't like there to be problems. I don't like people to be upset. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I want to be careful with people. I want to be diplomatic. And so some people just naturally want to avoid conflict. And that's a beautiful thing. But sometimes avoiding conflict so much, you end up creating conflict. You know, those that won't deal with conflict are guaranteed to always have it in their life. So you got to deal with it. We got to deal with conflict. We got to make sure we're willing to deal with conflict. Number 3 is there may be some kind of cultural or society conditioning, you know, like the values of your family is we don't fight, we don't push, could be gender role issues as well. And it could be just frowned on to be that kind of person in your culture. Past negative experiences. Maybe somebody called you out and embarrassed you in the past, or people rose up against you and said they didn't want you, and then you just think, I'm done, no more, I'm not joining anything else. Fear of responsibility. This is a big one because I think 8s could struggle with this. 1s tend to be more responsible. Like, let me lead all of these people. And 8s are like, no, I'm just doing this thing. Why are you looking to me? I don't want to lead. I'm not holding your hand. And so this could be a problem is you might see the path forward, but you don't want to commit yourself to showing up every week and being responsible for this organization or this institution. You're like, I don't want my freedoms limited by these expectations and obligations these people are going to put on me. And so you might hesitate at taking charge, even though you could, because you don't really want to show up every week. You don't want to be roped into this. Okay. Just pointing it out. All right. Low self-esteem or low self-confidence. Preference for collaboration. Maybe you really think, well, we're best when we get all of our diverse opinions together and we come up with something everybody can agree on. It's a beautiful thought. Doesn't always work, you know. Number 8, overthinking and analysis paralysis. That's me. Overthinking things. And, well, if I say yes to this, well, then that might lead to a problem later. And I don't know that I have all the information and yada, 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 yada. And so you just get stuck and then you don't know what to do and you delay and you procrastinate and okay. I could talk all day about that. Number 9, desire to please and seek approval. Those who are deeply motivated by the need for approval and acceptance might find it challenging to be a commander because it could make you unpopular. Yeah, people behind the scenes are like, did you say I was talking to Marty? And you don't want people doing that to you, so you hesitate at taking the role of leadership because leaders are the ones they shoot off the horses first. You know, the guy with the big hat on top of the horse commanding everybody, who are they going to shoot first? They're going to shoot them. And there's all these people that second guess you and they mutiny against you and they undermine your decisions and then you end up kind of with no friends because, you know, it's hard to be friends with subordinates and commanders might view people as subordinates. So it's a challenge. It can be difficult. If you're you know, high in commander, then please, you know, don't let the discouragement of your past keep you from being all that you can be and being the leader that maybe God designed you to be. The rest of us, maybe we need to have a lesson here about respecting and honoring those that are willing to take leadership and being good followers. And then all of us could grow in this, our willingness to put ourselves out there and maybe to trust ourselves a little bit more and be willing to put ourselves out there and speak more candidly with people and to own our positions and fully show up and not just hope that things are going to work out on their own. All right, guys, we got a lot of work to do, all of us. So thank you for joining me in this journey. And as always, be present to life, and I'll see you next time.